Hey everybody, and welcome back. Well, it looks just like it did when we left off last week, but the big difference is the green paint is now right. So all we're going to do now is set to put this together till we have a rolling chassis. Alright, I have another erratum concerning the grease nipples. It's partly my fault and partly someone else's who shall remain nameless. Partly my fault because I didn't bother to look this up, but I was with a friend and I happened to mention to him, here, what's the standard size for grease nipples? 1/4 I'm sure he said, 1/4. Well, when nothing would fit, I checked up on the good old internet and it said standard thread for a 1/4 inch one was 28. Now, I did try to screw it into a 1/4 nut, it didn't want to go, but I tried again and it did. So, as it's not, sort of a bolt holding the footrest on or anything, I just got a bottoming tab and went down and sort of reformed the 1/4 to 1/4. They tightened up nicely, they tightened up good and tight, so for grease nipples they're fine, so that's solved. Absolutely nothing else has happened, so we'll get on and start to make ourselves a rolling chassis, and then when we've got that done we'll start to put the engine together. Actually, there is something else, not really a mention in the introduction thing, but while I've been getting all this stuff together, I've been weighing it. Of course, pull my scales out, as soon as I want to use them they don't work, so I'll borrow some off George. So, frame, swinging arm and those rear suspension units, this frame absolutely is great. £23. Anyway, as I say, I did all the individual things, so basically a rolling chassis is going to be £23, 17 for the forks and yokes, that's 40, 16 for the front wheel, that's 56, this rear wheel weighs 30, it's 86. Then the whole bunch of little things that I put together, the saddle, the mudguards, the handlebars, everything like that, the engine plates came to £8. The oil tank with the exhaust pipes, silencer, chain tensioner and stuff came to £12, and the bash plate, because it's 1/4 inch, was £3. So what's that? 23, 40, 56, 86, 94, 106, 109. So say £110. Right, now we still have petrol tank. £110. I think, hang on, I'm going to turn you off because I want to look something up. Right, well, I don't have the bit of the manual from 500, but the 650 manual says that the engine weighs £130. So, with alloy barrels, because it's got, I can't remember it, the chap did tell me, which it's got to be 10, 15 pound lighter, because the barrels are 20 odd pound, I think. So, let's say it's 10 pound lighter, that's 120 for the engine, 110 for this, that's 230 pound. That's not bad. These is 200. We've got this to go on yet, but we don't know about that. So anyway, that's what it's going to be roundabout. So what I'm going to do is put the bash plate on these rear mountings, because that will allow me to stand the thing up. And I did all the roundings that people mentioned and countersunk where the bolts are going to go. So you know what, this might be a bit boring, mightn't it, just watching me doing all this, but as I'm holding this, oh, I'm going to switch you off while I bolt this up. So there's it bolted to the bottom, and that's the underneath engine mounting, and as you can see, as I say, they're all done nice and flush. And for those who always mention it, I've greased these, and actually I had to run the tap through because of course there was paint in those threads. Let's turn it over. Next we'll put the swinging arms in. The swinging arm in. So we've got our little bits to put in here. Here is the little oil seal that I mentioned. So hang on, I'll just go on that. Where's it? There's my little multi-purpose tool. It's been turned down to fit all sorts of things, this. That goes there. So now we have an oil seal at this end and we have those pieces in here, remember, so when we pump grease in it'll save that little bit. Then the next thing that goes in is that. I've already put the one on the other side, I won't show you the other side. Then on here we have, are you seeing all this? Yeah, the sort of plastic holding piece, and there's the thrust washer, so that goes on there like that. Alright, so where are we? There's the bit that goes in there. And the other one for that side. Okay, now then, hopefully that will still fit in there, but don't forget we have paint on there. These are always a bugger to get into the actual BSA frame as well, but at least with that you can spring it apart a little bit. You sort of got to get it in dead straight. There we go. I think that's got it. And just as with a BSA frame, once you get it in, it just drops in. It's another one of those jiggly things where you either get it in or you don't get it in, and then suddenly it goes in. There we go. And lost it. There they are. Obviously I don't need to grease that nut. So that's that and that. Right, let me tighten those up. Now I actually amazed myself here and had enough forward thinking to actually put some tape on the threads so they didn't get paint on. Now that's what I tried, not to put too much paint on so that these won't go on there, because the extra paint, yeah, seems to go on that one. Yeah, I'll have to take a bit of paint off there. Hold on. Right, sand the paint off, but I've greased it so that it shouldn't rust in there. They don't normally. Ah! Come on now, you just went, there we go. Alright, now what I've got to do here is make some large dished washers, and I didn't have any of the 1-inch ones, so I have ordered some today. They will be here tomorrow, and then I'll show you the little press thing I made to make the dished washers. But for now, we'll just put it on with an ordinary washer. Now, a 3/8 fine nut. So I'll tighten this up again and put the one on the other side. Right, well, next thing is the oil tank and the mudguard. Now, oh, there it is. The bolts I buy, they're an ordinary one. There we go. The bolts I buy always have the various numbers in to tell you what grade it is and everything stamped in the top. I don't like them, so I always turn it off just to make it a nice domed bolt. So let's see what we've got. Can't put this in with the wheel in actually, so it has to go in now. So first of all, we'll just put that through there. Now I'm not going to put the engine plates on till I've got the engine situated. There we go. So let's just put that on for now. Then our rear mudguard, which I have cleaned up a bit, but as yet I haven't polished it. I'll polish the back end of it a little bit to get it shiny again. It's going to go like that. Don't think 1/2 inch will do, so I've used a 3/4, but it's one of those a sort of 5/8 would do. It's sticking through. I don't think it's sticking through a 1/4. Actually, I might be able to use a 1/4 inch bolt there. Let's try it. Let's grab a 1/4 inch one just to see what it looks like. Come on now. Now then, is there enough sticking out to take a washer, because we want to spread the load a little bit on this plastic. See, I'm not getting a full nut. No, there's plenty of space in there for the tyre to come up. It's not as if I've got 1/2 inch sticking through or anything, it's just mildly annoying. I don't like bolts to be long. Now they did, well, I guess BSA Triumph, I don't know about Matchless Norton and all of them, but when you get their the bolt sizes, they're always weird lengths. Oh, I've lost that. What have I done with that now? Oh, it's still up there. What was I saying? Yeah, you'll see there's some really weird lengths. It's because, same thing, they didn't like to have them sticking out. Well, that's my opinion anyway. Right, so that goes in there. Tighten these up in a minute. And there it is. 5/16 one. Here, which goes through there, through the mudguard, through there, through the oil tank mount. Oh, by the way, when I water tested this oil tank, I had the tiniest little dribble from a back seam here, so I welded that up. Alright, that's that and that. Oh, let's see what you're seeing. That looks quite nice. Alright, let me tighten everything up. Right, next time we'll put in the steering yokes. If you're wondering what the little whirring is, it's so hot I've got the AC on, and these aren't strange marks on here, it's the light reflecting on the plate, which you may remember has the step in. Alright, so in that goes. On that goes. Ooh, what's that? Sounds a bit crunchy, doesn't it? Nothing here being should have any on them. Oh, that sounds nice enough. All this was covered over when I was painting it. Let me give this bearing a clean out and re-grease it. Right, well, I've washed that bearing out, repacked it with grease, and it sounds alright now, just the usual roller noise. I did bead blast it, but I had that all heavily taped up right underneath, so oh well, as they say. I was going to do one of those clever video things if the paint had been right the other day. I was going to do this as a rolling chassis, and I was going to set the camera up so I was sitting there and I was going to say, you know, bit of video magic. There we go. Boom, you know, and it was going to appear the next frame. And what I was going to say, because it was magic, I was going to say, you know, test the memory of the people in the UK. Sure, you all remember Paul Daniels, who, if memory serves me right, was from Middlesbrough. Certainly he's from Teesside. But I was going to say, how many of you remember David Nixon? Yeah? There you go. So that's going to go on there. And there isn't a clamp bolt. Ah, interesting. Alright, let's put some forks in. Forks. Now, I put the gaiters on, and hang on, I'm probably going to need to open you out a bit, aren't I? I was going to say, for anybody fitting gaiters, they tend... Well, I'm going to have to move you. Right, now you can see. What I was going to say, let's think, right hand fork, is the gaiters need to have a little hole in them, because you know they act like a bellows, and they generally don't come with one. So what you want to do is you want it to be, I mean, you can move these around. I like to put it on the back, about 2 little thingies down, and on the underside. It just makes it a little less prone to get water in. If you have them down here, if you put them at the bottom, then you're going to get all this gets wet and the water drains down and goes to that hole. So let's see. I knew this was going to be awkward. Come on, there we go. I was going to say they came out really easily. Now there's a big bolt, which I don't seem to have, which goes into the stem. So I'll have to find one of those. But for the moment, I mean, obviously we're a long way from being finished. At the moment I'll just put these in, and then everything will be hunky-dory. I've got to fit some, see that's stainless, but the ones I had were just the stainless 8mm, just a smidge too long. So I've got to do a couple of them, which is why I haven't put grease on, because they're all going to come out again shortly. Alright. Let's see if we can get one to the side without everything falling over. There we go. Okay. Right there. Let me do those couple of hose clips before I put the mudguard on. It'll be a little bit easier. Right, well, front mudguard. Bolt and the washer. Oh, come on. Lock washer. A couple of 5/16 nuts. Right, let me put all these in. Now I'll put the front wheel in. I'll pop the back wheel in just to balance this out. And actually I still don't have brake shoes for this wheel. So round to the back. Right on, everybody. That wants to be round there. Like that. Try it again. That's in there, that's in there. Come on, be a good boy. Let me lower this a bit. whenever things are going well, be prepared. Because something somewhere is lurking. There it goes. Right, so that goes in there. Then you may remember we have a big bolt. You'll see around this side later on. That bolts that torque arm right onto a big boss on the bottom of the fork leg. Now this can be moderately temporary for now because, as I say, I don't have a nut for there, just remembered, and the brake shoes are on their way. Alright. There we go. What time is it? Oh, it's nearly 5 o'clock. Right, well, that's, hold on 1 second, excuse me. Oh, I tell you what, we'll put the handlebars and stuff on. Oh, damn! I just remembered I haven't ordered a clutch cable yet either. Okay. I'm not sure about black handlebars on this. Actually, they're from the UK as well, Jersey, which is where my friend Mike gets nearly all his stuff from now. Fit. I don't know if they're as quick as when I used to get the stuff from Sammy Miller products, but they must have had one hell of a deal with FedEx, because I'd get quite a big box, 2 days literally. If I ordered it on Monday, be here on Wednesday, and the prices were fine. I mean, big box, even a box with mudguards in, I'd get it, it'd only be about $60. That was amazing. Exactly set these to where, oops, they want to be yet, because I don't know what's what. And anyway, it's a matter of individual preference. I know roughly where you want to put them, but backwards and forwards, just a fraction of an inch makes a huge difference. You want the handlebar where your hand's going to go on about in a line with the headstock. And if you don't believe me, it was Mick Andrews that told me that. Right, we'll tighten these up, and then I'll move you to give you a little bit better shot, and you can see why I like this colour scheme. I'm thinking same as my these are black tank with white panels. Actually, there's something interesting there I'll mention. Alright, there's how it looks to date. So, as I say, I'll mention something. I'm really surprised that we've got to, can you see me? Oh, look at these old bones. Ow. I'm really surprised nobody's mentioned the petrol tank, because I haven't mentioned it. And the reason for that is I don't know what I'm going to do yet. See, I hate to see, even if they're alloy ones, short petrol tanks. To me, the petrol tank should go right from there to there. Now, unfortunately here, we've got 22 inches. And that's a lot. I've looked around, I haven't seen one. Also, I need to be slim at the front and slim at the back. So I have been toying with the idea of building one. Thought about making it in alloy, thought about making it in fiberglass, haven't made my mind up. But because I'm almost certain that I want to do it, as I say, like as my base is, with a black tank with white side panels, I might make a fiberglass one. I don't know. I've never done a fiberglass tank, never done an alloy tank, so you could get to see a complete and utter debacle. You never know. But anyway, that's the way I fancy doing it, even if I do an alloy tank. Black with a white side panel. So there you go. Anyway, that's as far as we can get today. Tomorrow we'll come out, back wheel, stuff like that, and then, as I said, we'll put the bottom of the engine in and start building the engine up. Alright, so I was almost going to say see you next time, but all I'm going to say is see you tomorrow. Alright then, time for a back wheel. Now then, back wheel, here we go. Can you see that? Nice new locking tab things and a brand new clip to go on there. So that goes in there like thus. Then let me get this size wheel spindle. Right, so that goes in there. Just hook it on there while I put the spacer on. Let's wind this down to make it. Oh, I just thought I can put the little Allen bolts in that are the chain stop. Okay. That goes in there like that. Move that over there. To there. That bit goes in. There. Bit goes on. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Just got to get the flats lined up. One side, and that's the other side. Right, let me find the two little Allen bolts. Put one in the other side, a little bit of thread locking compound on it. So small it's easy to hold it with the Allen key. Right, that's that done. Now we've got bits and pieces to put on. Right, our first bits and pieces is, oh shoot, hung up. Didn't have the grease for the bolts. So, first thing we're going to put on is the torque arm, whatever you want to call it. So that is going to go on, which one is it? That way. Fingers and thumbs this afternoon. 3/8 nut. What belongs for that? Going on there. Boop, boop, boop. Tighten that. There we go. There. Back. Hot again today. Got the AC on. Right. And a bit of information for you there to pass the time. Oh, I actually don't want these tight yet, do I? Because I haven't put the chain on. Just put them on like that. And the next thing is prop stand. Here we've got to grease the nut, and we've got to grease in there. Now there's some paint went in, so hopefully it's not going to be got a paper towel. Yes. It doesn't matter about that being tight, of course, because it's going to actually clamp up. Oh, that turns nicely. So that goes in there. All lined up. Come on. Often what you can do, if there's a bit of thick paint there, it's not harming the thread on the bolt, because of course it's only running a thread into paint, but it'll get it in there. Alright, there's that. Take that back out, cut a piece off it. Oh, now come on. There we go. You would all think to yourself, hey, you damaged that thread there, but I didn't. Now, got to put that spring on. Oh, let me put a piece of rubber on there. Right, we'll put the rubber on. Now it wants to be here, right where that is, so what I've done is I've put a little hole in it. To go like that. And I have here a couple of very thin cable ties, which I'll own up and say I've got because I misordered them. I didn't realise they were very thin. But for little jobs like this, they're spot on. I used to glue these on, these rubbers, but you glue them on and then when they perish and stuff, they're a bit of a pain getting them back off and what have you. So and if you're wondering why I put them there, it's against the gap. Alright, now then we have to put, excuse me, that bugger back on. So I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm going to go and put some washers in it. Alright, here we go. Put that on in case the screwdriver slips and smacks into that. Now come on. I literally can't get any more washers in there. Oh, it went on quite easily last time, didn't it? Well, the second time anyway. Ow! And a couple of little paint chips I can deal with. You always take the paint off the top of these. And now, because I keep getting reminded about it, and I did last time, I'll stretch the spring before I pull these out, because they come out easier. See, that one even fell out. Out. All right. When I dropped that suspension unit, it chipped there, look. I guess it got fully cured. All right, let's go around the other side. Do a couple of bits there. Well, I was all set to put the chain on there and it suddenly struck me. Can't put that on until I got the bottom of the engine in with the gearbox sprocket. So what we'll do is we will make these washers. Right, well, I've just had one of those annoying moments I'm sure you all get. This of course is a press. It's in two pieces. I had that piece. I've just had the other piece in my hand. Can I find it? No. So anyway, what are they? It's two pieces. One is a dish piece like that, and the other one is a crown piece. So one's concave and one's convex, and I can never remember which is which. So then you take your washer. This of course is made just the right size. Supposedly what I was going to do with this, but I've never got around to it, these are just pieces of scrap, is this is a 3/8 hole in here. I was going to have a 3/8 hole so I could put a pin in and it would locate it. But anyway, you set that in there. You set that on top squarely, and that's what the locating pin would be for. And then squish it down. And there is your dished washer. So let me do another 3 and then we'll go and fit them. Now if you're wondering why I go to all the trouble of making these, it's for the same reason that I don't like to have bolts sticking out the end past the nuts. Put a flat one on and there's a gap all the way around it. Actually, if you look at a TY250, and you could buy these still, they had dished ones there. Whereas if you put that on, you see, it's much nicer. Little things, but then little things amuse little minds. See, I think that just looks much nicer than a flat one. Right, so let me put them on all the way around. The next thing we'll put on, I think, I might take these suspension units off and make some slightly longer bushes, you know, because the rubber's on a bush and it seems to me that it's crushing up the rubber too much before it gets to the bush. So there we go. Right, now what else? Well, the next thing to do actually is to put the bottom of the motor in, bottom of the engine in, and then I put the chain on and the chain tensioner and the chain guard. But I have a couple of things to do to the bottom of the engine before we put it in, so we'll leave that till tomorrow. So hold on a second again. Just to let you see what it's looking like at the end of play today. You know, this is going to look really nice with that Triumph engine in. All we've got to do now is sort out the tank. Alright, tomorrow we'll get the bottom half of the engine in. I have a couple of little jobs that I've thought of that I'll have to do, so we'll do them probably before we put it in, and then put the gearbox in, and well, we'll see what we get done this week, because I have stuff to do. Alright, until tomorrow. Right, this is a job I should have thought of when I had the engine stripped. Now, what we have here is a situation where that's the normal. Hang on, let me open you out a bit. That's the normal sized twin sprocket that goes on there. Now, as you can see, that means the chain runs right out here. But when you put this sprocket on, you find the chain runs right here, and this little ledge is just going to catch. Now, normally you have the same problem with the B25s. Normally, while I've got this all stripped, as I say, I would put this on the milling machine and just mill that off. But actually, in the instructions which come, or used to come with the Sammy Miller ones, these, because they're mostly expecting people to just be replacing them and not have the engine completely stripped, is they tell you to just take that off with a sharp chisel, which you can do. You grind one up very sharp, and you know, I mean, this is only alloy. You just go around very carefully and take off that, oh, I know, not even a sixth, about a 32nd of an inch. There's almost enough clearance here on this one actually, but I'm going to take a little bit off just to make sure. So as you can see, it's well packed in here so that nothing can go in, and all we do is we start taking it off, and you just go around. It's a bit time consuming. It would have been a lot easier with the mill. But I'm just going to go around and chisel all that little ring off there. So let me do that. There it is done. Actually, I took it all off with a chisel, and then I remembered that I'd bought myself one of these finger file things, and that went round and I was able to just take it right to the edge. Very nice. So that's done. So now we can pop the bottom of the engine in. Like so. The engine plates on and everything will be good. Right, so oh boy with that, let me put the engine plates on and then we'll come back. Well, I put the chain on, the chain tensioner, and I forgot to film that bit, so it goes on there now. And now you see why I like to put those things on the threaded pieces at the back. We don't have to worry about getting behind there with spanners and what have you. That's that. And let's zoom you out. And we can put this in because we can do the engine just put some grease on you. You're not missing anything exciting. I think we've got little spots of the polish I use all over the place. And of course paint. Get in front of you here for a moment. Yeah. Boop, boop, boop. Let me come round from this side. See, it's a nut on the back. I'm probably even more in the way now, but oh, come on. Stop misbehaving. I'll come back to that. Right, should have a bolt somewhere knocking around for that. Anyway, you can see it. I'll put that bolt in when I find it. So let me move you a couple of places so you can see the bike. Right, there it is. From this side, I still have the footrests put on. It'll start to look something like. Let me move you round to the other side. And there we are from this side. So that's where we are at present. I've had a thought about the foot brake, I was going to say, the rear brake. Normally I like to have these up here, out of the way. But we're a bit busy here for an arm. So I'm thinking I might put cable one on, because even though that goes down to the bottom, as you can see, it's completely protected by this. That's not all the way in, so it goes in further. Between that and that, I don't think it'll catch on anything, and that gives me the chance to have a nice cable run. And don't forget, this is 1/4 inch, so I can drill and tap that and put a piece on there. There's my brake lever, cable. That's the way my mind is running at the moment anyway. So there you go. It's not looking bad at all, is it? So that's going to be it for this week. Next week we're going to do that, probably go over to the clutch side and do that engine anyway. And then actually, once I've got this side on, I can decide what I'm going to do with this rear brake pedal and stuff. Okay, so as I say, that's it for this week. So you stay safe and enjoy yourselves.